The other thing is if you have this kind of open awareness, and again, that little extra thought process of, again, whether a Success magazine, some of these books that we've recommended, just kind of elevate your consciousness and awareness of possibilities. A few years back, I was doing some work in Russia with some Russian clients, and we'd walk through parts of Moscow or St. Petersburg, and you would just see all these opportunities, business opportunities, everywhere. Because literally it was like they were emerging from the 1950s or 60s, and we could see, well, if you did this, you could have that business. You could do this kind of business. They had guys literally with brushes and scaffolding on walls of buildings, scrubbing off the walls rather than using power washers. So you're sitting there going, man, you could like lease power washers. I mean, literally there were opportunities everywhere you looked. The interesting thing is our Russian business partners in that deal are looking at the same landscape, and all they're seeing is despair and hopelessness. And one of our Russian business partners said the difference in Americans and your viewpoint and us is we only see the challenges, you see the opportunities. If you kind of elevate and raise your consciousness to what within your own departments, within the brand, within the broader community, where you just kind of start looking up, you start thinking in terms of the Success magazines and some of the other business principles, you'll see opportunities that you wouldn't have seen otherwise if all you are is just kind of focused in, honed in on what am I doing today, just this foot in front of this foot. Just kind of raise your head and look around. You'll see those opportunities. You'll have a different awareness of what your customer may need, how you can better serve the customer of, why are we doing it this way? Hey, Doug, have you thought about maybe we could do this and take advantage of this opportunity? Like going out and calling on businesses and giving them a discount, or pursuing the internet or other opportunities that may be out there. You may come up with the big idea.
If your ego's in it, it's not authentic, right? Because we all know that true service is egoless in nature. So if your true wish is to serve the customer, because sometimes we want to aspire to a better behavior, so we're sort of in the fake it till we make it stage. We want to be a better person, we want to get up earlier, we want to make a to-do list every day, or we want to do something that's better than what we're currently doing. Well, that's an authentic wish. So we might tell somebody that we're somebody that gets up early every day when we're still trying to become that person. That's still authentic because you have an authentic wish to be a better person, to manage yourself in a better way.
In the law firm business where I was for a lot of years, we had a great receptionist. She was not only beautiful, she had a great voice. We had clients that would come into meetings in the office because they wanted to see Tina. You forget sometimes that the most consistent contact you have with customers are the folks that answer the phone or the ones that sit right out front. And it's amazing how many companies don't think about that. They'll put somebody who's rude, but she's been here forever, so we're going to keep her there. That contact is critical. And how many companies do you think about when you go in, the receptionist is rude, or even, again, keep in mind that we're all in this together. You may have the greatest receptionist in the world. Then she goes to lunch for the lunch hour and you just grab somebody and throw them at the desk. And for that hour, you got somebody that's, let me see if I can find it, and goes off. You've destroyed everything that other lady does or that other guy does by saying, we're going to go second team. And really, you're about sixth team. And if you would just think again, is this our brand? Is this what we want reflected in the way we answer the phone? Lamar Alexander, by the way, tells a great story about a country girl from here in Tennessee who got hired by one of the big airlines, Air France. And she was from East Tennessee, and she sounded like she was from East Tennessee. And she goes to work for... I'm not sure exactly. I think it was Greene County. Actually, sounded very, very country. So she goes to work for Air France, and one day the chairman, CEO of Air France, calls, and she answers the phone and says, "Air France, may I help you?" And he goes, "This does not reflect our brand. This does not reflect the kind of highfalutin, high society French way of doing things." So they literally sent her to vocation school and speaking school and trained her to be able to answer the phone, "Air France," so they could get that right kind of tone and tenor. And they spent all this time teaching her to say, "Air France." But they didn't do the rest of the work, because she would say beautifully when she would answer the phone, "Air France, can I help you?" So you got to carry it all the way through to make sure that it sticks, that it doesn't just touch the surface. But even when you got somebody filling in at lunch, is that what reflects your brand? But again, particularly it's the front lines. But again, those guys that are working the back, because you got customers that come in and they're asking, now what exactly went wrong with the engine? Well, if you got somebody that's attitude is that you're messing with my time, you're bothering me, all the good front work can be destroyed by that bad relationship. So everybody's in it. It's all your table. Every table is your table. There as well.
The point really is that social media is made it, number one, real easy to be in a relationship with people really quickly. And number two, made it much more important for us to be authentic, because, inauthenticity gets picked up really quickly. So for instance, if you're here and you're representing yourself as a wonderful salesperson or service department manager, etc., and then you go out into town, after work, and you're just horribly rude, and you don't tip people, and you push past people, and you don't want anybody to talk to you, you can't hide that kind of behavior anymore. So who you are off-site and who you are on-site really need to be the same authentic person. You need to be that person all the time, all the way down, because somebody's always watching. There's always somebody watching, even more so than there used to be. Used to be somebody watching, but they didn't have a video camera, or maybe they didn't have a media phone. So it's one of the things that's come to us from the technology, but that's one reason why it's so important to be authentic. Authenticity is really important.
Most of you all have probably been athletes at some point in your career. You've always heard the term, you play how you practice. So again, that's true also, again, in representing the brand, your personal brand, and the Beeman brand, you play how you practice. So what you're doing in practice, what you're doing in, quote, real life, carries over. And if you clean that piece up, you're going to see it carry over into your work. It's going to carry over into everything else you do. So, and the good news is that's the easiest stuff to fix. You may not be able to go in and completely change the impression that your boss may have of you, or that your workers may have, that you may have of your workers, and they're trying to change themselves. If they change those things, if they practice like they want to play, it's going to start showing up in their work. And again, making sure that you pass that on to everybody that's working with you as you try to elevate the brand is you play how you practice. And it's not pleasant. Man, I've been through some tough practices where you didn't like sweating on days like this, but that's the work that produces the results. Those things produce the results later, and they're, again, some of the easiest things to fix.